Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our morning coffee time. How is everyone this morning? And how's everything looking? Looks a little dark on my side. Okay, thank you, Dhammapala and Adrienne. That looks a little bit better then. The days and nights are relentlessly passing. And my morning time just flies by. I know when it all works out and the camera opens up, I'm sitting here with my eyes closed peacefully, but sometimes that's literally just a second or two of rest before this begins. So, okay, well, welcome to Friday, June the 26th. Speeding through the month of June. And looking at my messages and emails this morning, I see that Ajahn Viradamo has another talk via Zoom today. So he's one of the senior monks of our tradition and the abbot of Tisarana Monastery. So 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time in the United States, for people who are interested. I know we have some Ajahn Viradamo fans out there, and I count myself amongst them. So also, I want to give a thank you to Mahisha, who every afternoon, my time, goes through the day's morning coffee time and comes up with all the timestamps, but he also puts effort into chasing down references, sometimes even vague references, and coming up with links and resources, pointing to suttas. And yesterday, because there was a question about support for learning Pali Chanting, he pulled up something that I hadn't seen before, a website called Dhammacakkappavattana. And it was quite a nice little find. I think I might know who's behind it, but somebody's taken audio that's available out there on the web, a lot of it from Abhayagiri Monastery back in the day when Lumpur Pasano and Ajahn Amro, and I'm not sure who else, I might even be there when this was recorded. This has to be a recording that's well over 10 years old. And they've put this website together where you can select amongst many of the common chants that are used in our pujas, and it annotates it with the way that we do it in our monasteries with these 3 tones, the kind of high, middle, and low tone. And then there's a player at the bottom, so you can play it and chant along. So this is a very useful tool for people chanting alone and chanting who want to train and learn. So let me see if I can bring it up for people. So could people hear that? It chants, and the audio is playing as it kind of highlights and runs down the chant. So Dhamma karaoke, as somebody said here. So okay, once again, technology failed me. So that's a nice resource for people that are feeling lonely and wanting to chant, or especially for learning the chanting. So, and yeah, I have a lot of feedback here that people can't hear it. So just visit Dhamma. Okay. I don't think I'll demo it again. It's too much of a distraction. But Dhammapuja.com. If you go and you visit Dhammapuja.com, there's your URL. So if you go and you visit Dhammapuja.com, you can check it out for yourself. I thought it was a very nice kind of find. So, because I remember well when I first got interested in learning the chanting, and even if I'm introduced to new chants, I know how to pronounce Pali, but there's a lot of different styles in the way that people emphasize the Pali. So, like the way we chant Pali in the Thai tradition differs quite a bit from the way they chant it in Sri Lanka. So Mahisha also sent me some really beautiful Sri Lankan chanting, and I can understand it, but the way they emphasize the pronunciation is much different than the way I learned it, and even the Westerners do it a bit differently than the Thais. So flash forward a couple hundred years from now, we'll probably have our own unique style of chanting. So okay, well, let me scroll up here and see. I thought I saw some questions here early on this morning. Marilyn, good morning. I feel relatively content, but I still feel a need to keep doing things, to be productive, to be responsible and dependable, even while knowing the future is uncertain, so uncertain. Yeah, this, Marilyn, is exactly what I find myself contemplating. We can feel relatively content, even profoundly content, and yet there still seems to be this pressure. And following along from my reflection yesterday, what I was trying to explore a little bit is just asking that, like developing a sensitivity to that, because I think it is yet another way to explore the direct experience of dukkha. Like it's part of the dukkha, the human experience of consciousness. Like it's this kind of need to do, to be, but even to sort of perceive that both personally and communally, there's some sort of sense of forward movement, some sort of sense of progress, that we're creating benefit. So, if you listen to the voices of people that are depressed or suicidal, even people that have accomplished much sometimes can fall into that sort of state. One of the things you hear them say is they don't feel like they matter anymore, or they're making a difference, or they're making a contribution. So I think it's really interesting to kind of explore that. Like from the time you get up in the morning, like why do you get up? What is it that you do? When you have a break, when you come out of meditation. So when we cultivate the serene mind, which is permeated with a sense of joy and contentment, that compulsion falls away. That need to be anything at all, to do anything at all. That need for forward progress, or to perceive or see yourself in that way, falls away. Eventually, that state of mind and that equanimity dissipates. And it's interesting to sort of purposefully watch that process, watch that movement. And one of the ways to do it best is when you finish your meditation, to just note how that compulsion or that pressure to be, to do, to accomplish, to feel like one's making a contribution, how that is relaxed, how that is dissipated, and then watch how the mind, how that comes back into the experience, how we're moved in that way. I'm not asserting that that's always going to be driven by tanha. So the kind of craving that leads to further suffering. But that's much of what's going on there, probably most of the time. So, and if you spend time with people that seem to be very advanced practitioners, if not fully or partially enlightened, they still seem to be relatively active and concerned about using their life and the energy that they have to be productive and to give and serve in important ways, appropriate to their situation, appropriate to their talents. But it doesn't seem to be coming from some sort of selfish or compulsive reason. Rather, it seems to come from a sense of sensing the opportunity and wanting to give, and the joy of giving and helping. So we need a name for this: the pressure of being. It's an interesting exploration. So, and I see Adil has a comment here. That is Silabbata Paramasa. Not sure that's 100% on target. Adil. I feel content with need to do things, to be productive. Not sure exactly that's what the Pali concept there is pointing at. To me, it seems deeper than that. It seems more connected with the self-view. So, and this outflowing energy of bhava tanha. Duck plus B. Hello, Ajahn. I asked a few days ago about mindfulness of body sensations, including breathing, causing me anxiety. Can you tell me what other meditations I can use to calm myself or my mind instead? Sure. Well, one is and a very basic one is just walking meditation. So the simplest form of that is just determining to sort of pay attention and be perfectly present for the experience of the touch sensations and the event of stepping left foot, right foot, and just to be perfectly present for that experience, the simplicity of that, and all the sensations that accompany just attending to walking left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. If the mind's discursive, you can add something to help anchor it. A traditional way to do that in Thailand is to use the 2-syllable mantra Bhutto. So assign one of those to each step. So like maybe the right step is Bhut and the left is To. Bhut, To. And you might start off like that, but if there's a modicum of presence and stillness in the mind, then I would encourage you to tune into just the sensations of movement and touch when we're walking. And I find that sort of very calming. It's like a walk on the beach. Not a care in the world, just walking on the beach, feeling your feet kind of sink into the sand, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. You feel the touch sensation of the footfall. Not a care in the world, just simply being, walking, aware. So you might try something like that. The more perfectly we can be present for that, the more soothing I find that. So that's a nice alternative way to practice meditation. If the breath is causing anxiety, you could also do that Bhutto meditation and just really focus on the sound internally of the mantra, Bhutto. So it's recitation meditation, and that can be very good for focusing the mind. And then also you could do some of the more thematic meditations. So cultivation of loving kindness would be a good one to sort of explore. But breath meditation is so useful. I would try to figure out where the anxiety is coming from. I don't know how new you are to meditation, but it does happen fairly frequently, I'd say, with people that are new to breath meditation, that all of a sudden becoming aware and trying to be aware of this process that is so automatic and natural sometimes causes some anxiety in us there. So there's a process of learning how to just attend to the breath without being overly attached to or involved with the breath. So that might be something to try to see if over time you can sort out where the anxiety is coming from, and sort of train yourself to be calm and at ease, noticing the breath and feeling the breath. So depending on how strong or mild it is too, you can still engage in breath meditation, but see if you can breathe in a way that is easy, full, and long, that helps dissipate the tendency to feel anxiety. So see if you can adjust the breath in some way that feels soothing, calming. And some of it is what you notice in the experience of the breath and how you attend to the breath. So Ajahn V for the win. Okay, I think we have some fans. Good morning, Cher. Holly and I are interested to know, is the gradual path the same thing as the middle way, identical? No, it's not. The middle path, Majjhima Patipatha, is a middling way between two extremes. So, and I think this is often misunderstood and misinterpreted as moderation in all things, and that doesn't really do justice to it. That's a bit more broad than I think what the Buddha is talking about when he refers to the middle path. And the kind of canonical place to look for a definition of that is the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, the first of the three cardinal sutras. And the Buddha is describing how he rejects, as a strategy for finding happiness and overcoming the dukkha of a human life, he rejects the people that are have a philosophy or a life that is aimed at finding that in sensual pleasures. So that is one extreme. And that's the most normal one. Everyone's trying to make themselves happy and comfortable with experiences and possessions and relationships and all the things of the world that maximize pleasure and comfort and security and minimize pain and discomfort and lack of security. So, so that he calls one extreme, and he rejects that. And then he also rejects self-mortification or asceticism. And we can even call it empty asceticism, but there are many kind of spiritual seekers, philosophers, yogis, samanas, especially in his time, who had philosophies and practices of self-mortification. So it's this idea that we need to go through pain, we need to purify the body through denying pleasure. And, extreme example of this would be some of the Jain practitioners. And they have a concept of, sort of pain is burning up negative karma. And I don't think the Jains were alone in that. There's other sort of philosophies. So, and the Buddha himself practiced all kinds of austerities, thinking that that was the way. So the middle path is a middling path. It's not a complete rejection of any seeking of comfort or that which one finds pleasant, and it's not a complete forsaking of that which might be unpleasant or painful. So indeed, even in the teaching, the Buddha allows certain ascetic practices, and he encourages a lifestyle which is quite ascetic, but not with any notion that through that one burns up karma, or one merely through that one can't attain the goal of the holy life. So that's the most straightforward reading of the middle way. So It's not about asceticism. It's not about pleasure. So, the gradual path, or the graduated teaching, or gradual teaching. We really should explore that a bit more here in the morning time, because there's a lot of detail that one can put on that. So, that's really where the Buddha is just speaking to the breadth of what it is that is skillful, and how it is that one can skillfully engage with the conditions of their life to effectively usher in greater blessings, greater happiness, and building upon that, develop even higher blessings, culminating in a transformative relationship with the processes of dukkha. So, see, okay, we have just maybe time for one more question today. Good morning, Ivy. I'm learning to meditate and I notice my breath is shallow, short. Perhaps because I'm new to meditation or lung damage from previous smoking. It's hard to observe without efforting on the exhale. Okay, Ivy. There's a couple things here. There are some teaching styles of breath meditation that encourage an active engagement with the breath and adjusting the breath to enhance the meditation and also the sense of comfort. So finding a breath that's just right and that fosters overcoming the hindrances and the development of the jhana factors. So, that's if the breath is shallow and short and it doesn't feel comfortable, one can engage in it. But there's other styles, and Ajahn Chah would probably fall more into this. Like if you listen to the times where he's giving some brief instruction on meditating on the breath, he seems to mostly just encourage letting the breath be, not manipulating in any way. Just let the breath be as it is naturally. And if the breath is shallow or short, it might just take extra concentration or a heightened sense of attentiveness to apprehend that breath, like it's a more subtle sensation. So, and this is actually part of what I think makes breath meditation so excellent. You can get these very subtle sensations, and it's calling you, it's requiring you to sort of amp up your attentiveness and your ability to stay with it and your ability to sort of notice it. And the breath can become almost invisible or imperceptible. And part of the skill of breath meditation is not being thrown by that, still listening and attending in a way that is very patient and full and absent any anxiety or doubt, but listening even a little more closely so that one can come back to the sense of the breath and the activity of the breath. So there's a choice that you can make there. I would probably encourage you along the lines of try to be a little more still and just gently sort of raise the level of attentiveness and awareness very patiently so that one can sort of sense that more sort of subtle breath. because that's leading you into a more skillful and easeful sort of state of mind. It's leading you towards what we call absorption. So, and if the breath disappears, don't worry, you're not going to stop breathing. The body will take care of itself. So it's just that the mindfulness sometimes is not sufficient to sense the subtle breath. So okay, and then just before we go, I see this is a nice kind of comment here. Try noticing the breath movement in the belly while letting the belly relax. So yeah, you can come back to the physical sensation. That's another way. We're keeping the body attention in the hands, feet and hands, lying on the ground while doing this. Okay, so yeah, that's another suggestion. Okay, well, let's leave it at this for today. Friday, June the 26th, and people are free. Ajahn V be giving a talk this afternoon, so take care, friends. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Be well.